This is a rant here at work. I'm sick, but I actually kind of think maybe he's like working for me, and like I don't know. I think maybe just the white sweater is giving me like a little bit of bounce back. That usually at work I look terrible, so it's a sliding scale. Okay, but I felt when I feel like this. Okay, so here's a little bit of a rant about the reception to Iron Lung. Okay, so first of all, I have a theory. I read some comment, maybe some review somewhere that said that like Iron Lung was half traditional horror movie and then half internet horror, which is a horribly vague term, but I think I know what they're onto, or I've changed it entirely. So the idea that I'm going with at least is that I like internet horror. What does that mean? ARGs, unfiction stories, unfiction like in general. Uh, um, a third thing, and then also like what's horror that's really popular on the internet. That's stuff like FNAF, SCP. It's like okay, so a lot of things that this stuff, and then I don't know. I don't really think it might be unfiction. Kane Pixels came to my mind because I really like his videos. And it's funny because I do think you can draw, like, I do think there is something that's like you can draw a clear connection between the critiques in Iron Lung and like somebody who likes Kane Pixels is not going to have those same critiques. You're not going to say that Iron Lung is slow. You're not going to say that, like, you didn't get it. I've never understood a Kane Pixels video after the first watch. There is something about the way that horror works in internet spaces, on TikTok, on YouTube, that kind of stuff, that is like communal. Like let's use an example of, let's say, I think there was a little short film I watched on TikTok once. Guy finds something, I can't remember the plot. Like finds something, digs something up. It's like, whoa, look at this cool trinket I have, and the camera gets those white staticky fuzzies everywhere. And the video continues as normal, and like nothing really happens. It's just like look what I found. Can you believe they're gonna throw this out? And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And you go to the comments, and you have people explaining that that's what high radiation can do to cameras, or like some level of radiation, and that's scary. It's scary to imagine holding something seemingly harmless, and like I always think like the scariest thing about radiation is like you don't know it's killed you. Like that's cool. Like that's cool in real life, but in a horror concept, that's cool. To like not already know that your fate's been sealed. To be like having a normal day, normal thoughts, normal emotional state, your fate is sealed. That's scary. Anyway, but it's like I don't know that until I read the comments and people are explaining it. And people are like working together to talk about theories and talk about like if you watch like the oldest view and like the rolling giant video, did I enjoy those videos without anybody telling me anything that's happening? Yeah. Did I understand them completely? No. Do I understand them completely now? Not really. I just like that little rolling guy. I think he's cute, and I think we should be nice to him. Sometimes I'm like, let the monster kill you. I think he really needs this. There's something sad about him. And he's kind of got like a sad energy, so I think maybe we should just let the monster kill him. And there is something. It is interesting because you think about stuff like FNAF and these kind of horror stories, and the lore is like a big part of like why FNAF is big. People love to talk about the lore because like I don't know, it's not for me. I kind of think dead children are sad, not scary. I think when I was a kid, harm to kids scared me because it's the idea that like somebody could get past the protection that you were like inherently owed as a child, that like the protection from like your family and your community could fail and someone could hurt you. that is scary. As an adult, that's just sad. That's not scary, because, like, they're not gonna get me. I guess they do kill, I think adults die in FNAF a lot, too, but in any kind of situation, in any, like, a lot of these things where, like, kids die, it's like, oh, isn't that creepy? I'm like, I'm really just sad. I'm really just, it's kind of just a bummer. And I think I'd win, honestly, if somebody's just killing kids. It's like the Jeff the Killer thing where the first thing in the Jeff the Killer story is that he fails to kill, like, an 8-year-old boy. And it's like, okay. I think I'd have it covered, actually. If that's the level of skill we're dealing with, I think that I would be okay. So, excuse me, I'm sick. I'm sick, and I was so tired, but I pounded an energy drink, and this is what we get. And something that I feel like I have noticed with, like, my mom more than anybody, like, it's not like I'm not on my phone a lot, but let me finish that thought. Anyway, these, like, slow burns, the idea that you need the community, like, I don't think I would understand half of what I understood in Iron Lung, especially because, like, I can't, like, rewind and go through different parts of it. If I wasn't, like, going on Tumblr after I watched it and seeing other people talk about, like, oh, those were, like, tree branches, and oh, with the monster, the sun turned around, it was him. Like, what? And then you piece that together and it makes sense, right? So, you know, the idea that, like, you do need the community to help you understand something is maybe something that's, like, a little internet horror, if that's the term I'm using here. Or, like, I was maybe think of it as, like, new horror, that it's excruciatingly slow. You could go so long into, like, not that Doki Doki Literature Club would be, like, internet horror. It's obviously, like, a video game, but I would say it's, like, non-traditional horror. What is it, like, an hour before anything happens, before anything, like, scary happens? And some of the scare comes from knowing that it's a horror, like, you are playing a horror game. Obviously, you have situations where people are, like, tricked into playing Doki Doki Literature Club, but the intended experience is you get the warning when you launch the game that this is not, like, a normal dating sim. This is not a normal dating sim, and it is going to be graphic, and it is going to be dark. But then it's forever until anything happens. And so it's just, like, that ticking in your head, like, okay, what was that about? I feel like that's part of it. Unlike something like the movie Audition, the horror in that is deep in it, but I kind of don't feel like the rest of the movie, like, there's not a ton of tension. It's just a really good drama, and then then some scary stuff happens, which is, like, it's a good movie. It flows together, But I'm just saying, it's different. It's different than how the, like, tension works in something like Doki Doki Literature Club, or, like, Cooking Companions, or something. One of those, like, cutesy that is scary, Ballet Verde. Though in Ballet Verde, it does get weird a little faster. Which, Valley Verde, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, they're kind of, like, blowing their load too early. They're, like, making it scary too fast. Valley Verde gets away with it because it keeps upping the ante, because Valley Verde gets fucking insane. But the idea that they didn't walk around pretending to play an Animal Crossing clone for, like, 30 minutes, and I went, this is rushing. Like, that's crazy compared to, like, movies, right? So, I think maybe as opposed to the idea that like everybody in Gen Z just has horrible attention spans, and maybe they do. But I do think that like at least when it comes to horror, I get the impression that like Gen Z and like new horror really understands a slow burn and intention building and and lore and digging deep. Sorry, I'm all stuffed up, so I'm out of breath because I can't breathe through my nose very well. Um, and I think that's fascinating. And I was also listening to I started filming this because I was a couple minutes into part and Troy Baker was on something called Party Chat. He was talking for a couple of minutes about joining Iron Lung, and he says that like their Netflix deals and Netflix is so big, but like they keep wanting to reiterate character names and plot points because he's like they can't compete with this, which is interesting because what my mom and my stepdad do every night is they sit on the couch together and they watch like FBI or something, and they're on their phones. And then sometimes my mom will look up and be like, "What's going on?" Bless her heart. And I will say that like I think I just have like a good metric for myself of like this is something to have on in the background, and this is something to pay attention to. I was watching Jacksepticeye playing Still Wakes the Deep. I stopped like halfway through it because I wanted to pay attention to it, and I was losing my attention span a little bit. So I was like, let's come back to this later because it is like 4 hours long, and I need to do stuff. I need to do stuff, or just like do something different for a while. And I don't know. Sometimes it just shocks me how. I guess I'm glad that somehow I feel like I have like my screen time is really high, but I feel like personally I have developed a good like metric of like this is phone time and this is not phone time. Maybe too much of it is spent in phone time, but like when I watched Event Horizon the other night, I did not pick up my phone during it. Or if I ever wanted to pick up my phone, I paused the goddamn movie. I don't know what's wrong with people. I don't know if I ever picked up my phone. Sometimes I watch movies like in the bathtub, and then I definitely can't be on my phone. You take a nice relaxing bath and you watch Event Horizon. Is that normal? I don't know, but you know, I feel like some people just have really poor like self-discipline. When I discovered in high school, I got really into movies, and there's this idea that I really bought into, which is what you give to the movie will give back to you. You can watch the best movie in the world, but if you're not really watching it, you're gonna have a mid experience. You can watch a shit-ass movie, not shit-ass, but like a mid movie, and if you devote your time and energy to it, you will come back with value. Because there's also part of the idea that I think is special about movies, that using more modern lingo, someone cooked here. Maybe not everyone cooked. Maybe the director dropped the ball. Like, if the movie is bad, okay, so like a good example is a movie I hate called Welcome to Raccoon City. It's a Resident Evil adaptation. It's not very good. I think it's actually like a fun, like, I don't hate watch, because hate feels like a strong word. It's a fun movie to watch to make fun of with your friends, just because of like, especially if they know, even just Resident Evil vibes, but also like the characters. There's part of STARS, right, which is like a special. It's vague. As special forces, SWAT, cops, the army, kind of. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But they're supposed to be highly trained individuals. At no point do I buy that. At no point do I buy even the like. I think what they're trying to do is be like, these people are so experienced, they're looping back around to casual. Like, think of Michelle Rodriguez, and anytime she's like played a soldier, where it's like, oh, she's tough, she knows her stuff, so she can be kind of sloppy because she'll lock in when it gets to the time. I think that was kind of the vibe they were going for. Um, the vibe was not achieved. They seem so sloppy. They like, I'm just like, I don't know, 20 minutes of like firearm training or something. Like listening to like a special forces guy talk about like how you handle a gun and how you like cross thresholds and stuff. I think could have added a lot. I feel like they did. I feel like they did no talking. I feel like it's like if you asked high schoolers to go out and pretend they were part of the army, which is what the government does. Let's leave that to the government, okay? But one thing about Welcome to Raccoon City is the fucking sets. The set design is phenomenal. It is, they cooked so hard. When they go to the mansion feels perfect. The mansion, I don't even know if it like looks like the mansion in the game. It feels like the mansion in the game. It feels like a space that is like eclectic and weird and haunted as hell. And like you buy, like just by looking around the mansion, you buy that you would have to do puzzles to get anywhere. Because that's like something that in Resident Evil you kind of have to get over, is the idea that why would these people be doing puzzles? But if you're in a mansion like that, you're like, oh, whoever designed this place is a freak. And they love puzzles. So like I try with certain movies at the very least that I'm like I'm going to pay attention, because it could be makeup, it could be the script, it could be the cinematography, it could be the lighting, it could be one performance. Somebody came to that set and did a good job. There's too many people involved for nobody to have any talent or resolve or pride in their work. You can, like, somebody's, like, even on a mid movie, you got it, and I think it's important to, like, go through a mid movie and, like, what worked and what didn't. And you gotta give your flowers to the people who made it work, who kept the mid movie from being trash, garbage, awful. Anyway. But yeah, it is interesting to see, because I would imagine that the critics are older than most of the people doing like the audience scores. But some of those reviews are bad. I don't mean like they rated the movie bad. Some of them did, but like some of them are like, they're bad articles. They're bad reviews. One, I remember somebody pointed out that one, they spelled Mark Fishbach wrong, which is also funny because, like, he also isn't credited as Mark Fishbach. That's like, I don't know any rappers that are artists, like, that's like, hold on, what's Ice Cube's real name? Yeah, that's like, if anything, that Ice Cube was in, you only called him O'Shea Jackson? Is that how you pronounce it? Or O'Shea Jackson? I don't know. I'm sorry. Apologies to Ice Cube. I've only ever heard him called Ice Cube. But, like, clearly Markiplier is going by his username in the movie industry as his name, which is not unheard of. A lot of people get credited like that, credited with like their stage names. Now, it's usually not people who start off in acting, but also that's not where Mark started off. So, like, you could just call him Markiplier. And if you want to put his real name, you could be like, parentheses, like, real name Mark Fishbach or whatever. But it's weird, like, I think it's a little weird to kind of go against the clear intention of, like, every way he has been credited for this movie to be, like, directed by Mark Fishbach. That's weird to me. Not that it's like his dead name or anything, but like it's Markiplier directed it. He said before that like he's proud of who he is, and he's like, do you think people yell? What did he say? He was like, do you think people yell Mark Fishbach when they see me on the street? No, they yell Markiplier. And he's like, that's my name. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. Because I'll admit, it gave me a little chuckle. And then it was like, yeah, why? Because, listen, and I keep thinking, anytime this is coming up, I know, and I believe, Mark, that YouTubers are not respected as like a new media kind of like famous person. There is a little part of me that every time I'm also like, yeah, show 'em, Mark. I think of like gamers, the most depressed. YouTubers, the most depressed group of all. So I guess that's what Mark's gonna have to show them, is that they shouldn't oppress YouTubers, which is clearly the most pressing issue in America today. Please, if somebody watches this in 20 years, know that I'm joking. I'm deeply distressed about everything happening. I don't know what to do. Alright, bye.